Hi, everyone. Welcome to Pacific Oaks. Welcome to ECE 211 from Theory to Practice. My name is Jorge Ramirez. I will be your professor for Fall 2, 2025. First and foremost, completely apologize for what happened with AWS and our Canvas platform on a Monday. I'm sure it was very stressful. It was stressful on our end. We're trying to figure out what are we going to do? How are we going to communicate? I started sending out emails. And then when I sent that email saying, hey, we're still going to meet, we're going to go over the our Canvas course, I realized I don't have access to Canvas, so we can't meet. So that was the reason into why we didn't end up meeting. And then I realized that maybe a lot of you weren't getting your Canvas alerts to your email. So I said, you know what, we'll just do a part two. And here we are, part two today. So our course, it emphasizes the importance of observation, documentation, and assessment of children within the various contexts in which they exist. This course introduces the concept of inquiry as a professional stance or a way of knowing and being in the world of education practice that informs curriculum development, instruction, and assessment. So we're going to talk a lot about theory. You're going to get an opportunity to give us your perspective about theory. Now, for me, when I first started higher ed at East LA College and I took Child Development 1 theory, I freaked out. All these terminology, all these names that I couldn't pronounce, all these hypotheses, all these theories into how children learn and develop really was beyond me. When I started working with children, I realized, hey, you know what? The best way for me to learn theory is to start plugging in certain theorists with certain children's behavior. And then that helped me really understand and grasp the idea of theory. Now, as I do a lot of research in the field and I do presentations, I realize theory is not that bad after all. Theory is probably the best way of learning how to better provide for children. So as you log into our Canvas course shell, in the homepage, you get the course description, you have my information, my phone number, and you also have my office hours, which are Monday from 12 to 1:30 via Zoom. So if that doesn't work for you, just shoot me an email and then we'll find time to get together. I do have meetings throughout the week, and some days, some weeks, I should say, I'm more available than others. So bear with me as we try to find a perfect time that works best for you so we can sit down and talk. My way of communicating with you is to send you Canvas announcements. I post them on Canvas and then I copy and paste that same message in a message through Canvas. So then you hopefully get it at least twice through the message and then through the Canvas announcements. I like to do them at the beginning of the week. Your assignments are going to be they're going to be due on Sunday, 11:59 p.m. So I will probably send out my announcement Monday morning. Monday, I usually like to grade. I like to get that out of the way early in the week. So then if you have any questions, you need help, then that's the time that I like spending with you to provide that resource. So when you go into our modules, you're going to see our course home. There's some important information there for you to review. Please review it. Library, access to our library, and then module one. When you click on module one, you're going to see the overview, readings, and assignments. That's pretty much the consistency you're going to see across all modules. The first thing is going to give you what to do for the semester. So we are in the process of pretty much re-evaluating our Canvas course shells and a lot of the content that we have. This is part of my responsibility now that I'm coming here to teach this class full time. And my responsibility is to see what has worked in the past and what hasn't worked in the past. So there's going to be a lot of changes. If you logged into Canvas on Sunday before the shutdown, you noticed there was a reflective journal. You logged into Canvas on Monday night after Canvas came on, you said, what happened to that? Well, that was one of the assignments that's going to be reassessed, reevaluated, and then plugged back in at a later time. You're taking the course now, so you have nothing to worry about that assignment. So for this week, module one, you are to do chapter one reading. And when you're doing that reading, if you don't happen to have that book, don't worry about it. Just shoot me an email and I'll be more than glad to find ways to help you with that. So when you go to overview readings and assignment, you will see chapter one. Then your discussion is, in what ways have you experienced multiple cultural and contextual influence in your work with young children? What challenges do race, ethnicity, socioeconomic status, or sex, gender pose in being successful? The follow-up question is, how do you prepare children to be lifelong learners? So with your discussion, there's multiple layers to it. First is your response to that prompt, and then is your response. Then is to respond to a peer, right? So make sure that your discussions are due by Thursday, your initial response, and then you respond to a peer by Sunday night. Get into that habit because that's pretty much your routine for the semester. Something that's due tonight is the introduction of yourself. As I'm looking at it, I see that some of you have posted. Thank you very much. You've gotten a grade. You've gotten my response that says thank you. There's still a handful of you that haven't gone to that. So please make sure you do that by tonight to make sure that you have your attendance posted and the college knows that you are taking the course. And then you have your discussion, which is what I read earlier. When you click on the discussion, it does tell you the expectation. So make sure that your length is at least 300 words or more, no less than 100 to 150 when you're responding to peers. So you're responding to the question, and then you're responding to at least two peers in their discussion thread. Make sure they're original. Make sure you're providing your expertise, your opinion, and then use the readings to support what you're saying. This is your opportunity to share your expertise, to share your experience. So please make sure you do that in a very respectful way. I do read them. I do like to respond to them. In some cases, I look at the questions, and then if I find them to be very interesting, I will respond to them. So far, I only have two of you that have posted the discussion as this morning. So that's due tomorrow, Thursday, and then responding to a peer would be by Sunday. And that is pretty much the only assignment you have this week. That is the only assignment you have in Module 2. And then in Module 3, if you want to start planning ahead, you see project paper with graphs and chart. You can read through the instructions. You can look at the samples, look at the links. Completely up to you, but I'm not going to get into that assignment just yet. I am going to be going week by week basis. So every Monday, I am going to be posting on overview, readings, and assignment. I like to do a recording, small little PowerPoint, and put it in there just to give you an expectation, a heads up of what you're doing for the week. Everything is going to be based off of our course book, so please make sure you get it. Again, if you haven't gotten it because you ordered it through Amazon and Amazon was shut down on Monday, no worries on it. Just shoot me an email. Let me know how I can help you. A little bit about myself. So I just came on board at Pacific Oaks College this past spring too. Prior to that, I was at Pacific Oaks Children's School. I was a master teacher there. Prior to that, I served 16 years working for a big school district in the preschool setting. My experience is in early childhood education, specifically preschool classroom. My area of research is in social emotional development, SED. And that has been my topic of research primarily because of my background. I am Mexican, born in La Piedad, Michoacan, came into this country at a very young age. My first language was Spanish, and I struggled a lot in school, and that struggle had a lot to do with not knowing how to ask for help because I didn't have the language. I was labeled a lot in school. I was isolated a lot in school, and it took a lot for me to find a way to be successful, especially in elementary. As I went on to middle school and high school, I sort of found my way, found my niche into how to learn things, although it was very, very difficult. And now that I am in a position to research, to present, to share, to mentor, I like to share with other people the impact of early childhood education and how much that influences into adulthood. And it pretty much will shape the way you live your life. Growing up in a very traditional Mexican culture, very toxic Mexican traditional culture, at least from my experience as a child, there was a lot of um, traditions. There was a lot of stereotypes that damaged the way that I thought, the way that I interact, and the way that I learned because of a specific aspect of machismo. So now, as an adult, as a father of two girls, I want to change that. And by changing that means that I have to reprogram my nervous system and reprogram my triggers and using them in a way that benefits me. So my doctoral research project is on social emotional development in early childhood education, specifically in preschool. I want to develop some form of framework for teachers to use to help children feel good about themselves, to build on their self-efficacy, to build on their self-esteem. Some of the theories that I like using is obviously John Bowlby's attachment theory, Mary Ainsworth attachment styles. I like using Albert Bandura's social learning theory, Bronfenbrenner's ecological systems, and the list goes on and on and on. Um, in this class, we're going to talk a lot about theory. So if there's something that doesn't make sense to you, something that you feel like, you know what, I'm just having a hard time understanding it, shoot me an email. You're not alone in this class. I'm here to support you. I want you to be successful. But I don't know how to help you if you don't tell me how to help you. If you need an extension in any of the assignments, because sometimes life does happen, sometimes technology will give us those glitches like it did this past Monday, let me know. I'm here to support you. I want you to be successful. I want you to get a positive experience in this class with me. And again, I want you to tell me how I can help you as your professor, as your mentor, as your cheerleader. I want you to be successful in this class. So looking forward to speaking to you on a weekly basis. Again, if there's anything that I can do to help, please feel free to reach out. If you have a question about your career path or you have uncertainty about what you're getting out of your classes, let me know. That's what I'm here to do, to help you and be your cheerleader. Have a good week. Stay productive, stay safe, stay healthy. And if there's anything that I can do to help, please do not hesitate to ask. Chat with you guys soon.